and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest and greatest installment of Go Folk Yourself podcast, an American podcast brought to you from the four corners of the United States of America. That's right, folks. We're not just in sunny Orlando, Florida anymore. In fact, we are all across the U.S. Tonight, you've got Brett on the mic, accompanied by Nick. And Nick, where are you?
I'm still in Orlando.
That's right. We didn't really
Holding
leave
it down.
Orlando. Yeah. And how about you, Victor? Welcome back.
Hello, I'm coming from a redacted area that I can't really talk about right now. Figured get out in the field for this one and talk about redacted topic that we're going through today.
Fantastic. I can't wait to hear all about redacted. I think that that is going to be such a really interesting topic, and every bit of that redacted is just going to delight our listenership, and I think that they're going to have a lot of fun.
I think it's great that we can finally dive into military redacted files that haven't come out redacted. Yeah.
That's right, listeners. If you had to guess, tonight we're talking about some redacted information that the U.S. government doesn't want you to know about. We're going to be diving deep tonight into Project Blue Book. That's right. Get those tinfoil hats on because the Greys are listening. All right.
Implying
are
I
you
ever
guys
take
ready?
mine off.
The truth is out there.
The truth is out there, folks. We're going X-Files style tonight. I hope you were prepared to talk about aliens. You know, after all, it is October, and what is the spookiest thing of all besides ghosts, goblins, serial murderers, literally anything else is aliens. So, yeah, I hate aliens. Let's go.
Also, spoiler warning, we're not going into chemtrails or scary conspiracies that tie into politics. This is a fun conspiracy episode, hopefully.
I think it will be fun. I'm going to make it an effort to be fun, though I myself hate aliens.
No matter what, we're all together, and that's what's going to make. I can't even play this game. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
And, you know, first of all, we wanted to thank our listenership because you guys are the real heroes out there. We're all in this together right now. So.
In these challenging times, we got to come together and listen to my podcast.
The unprecedented times, starring the Go Folk Yourself team. So, yeah, first question, let's just go ahead and get this out there for the audience. I just expressed the fact that I hate aliens and all things attached to them. But how do you guys feel about aliens as a concept?
I am pleasantly neutral. I think, could they be there? Absolutely. Do I know that they're there? Who the fuck knows?
You're an agnostic.
About it.
I grew up alien liking, and then I kind of got away from the church as I got older.
I get that.
An alien priest was not very kind to me.
How about you, Victor?
1999 Victor would be like, absolutely, they're out there. Right now, I still think aliens are real. I just think they came and were like, oh, no, fuck this, and left.
Oh, God, no.
Like every Star Trek episode where they go to a primitive planet, they're like, we can't touch this. We're going to go now. I feel like that's what we are right now, especially this year.
We have Nick, the alien agnostic, Victor, the alien deist, in that they have left us to our own devices.
They're just like,
and
no.
Brett, the alien atheist, they don't exist, everybody.
What a good spread.
So that being said, I do find alien history fascinating, and I can't wait to talk about this. The pure comedy of aliens in the U.S. government is a joke that writes itself. So yeah. I can't wait to talk about it. So first question for you guys, beyond the general belief in or disbelief thereof in aliens, how much do you guys know about Project Blue Book?
I know that I used far more than my fair share of blue books at the University of Central Florida, and that's about it.
You know, I use those too, and fun fact, Project Blue Book is literally named after those stupid blue books from university.
Get out of here.
I am not joking.
I hate it, and I don't know why they would pick that. Do you remember that thing that just tortured you? You had to write down all your test answers? Yep. Great. Here's a whole government project about it.
Oh, my God. I had to use exclusively blue books for my art history degree that I'm putting to great use today. And it's actually kind of an in-joke that the U.S. Air Force named it after that. because they thought it was such a serious, in air quotes, topic that was being scrutinized by their superiors that they wanted to give it like a collegiate sounding name, but still make kind of fun of it.
Like all military things
treatment.
that go into the paranoia, it's like the most exciting thing hidden the boringest topic and cover. Like,
right?
Ladies and gentlemen, today, Project Mayonnaise.
Well,
It's about drilling for underwater people.
That sounds horrible.
Both mayonnaise and the underwater people.
Like, I think the Navy's project for mermaids, I'm sure this is fake because it was a History Channel thing, and I hate that that's the case. It was like Project Manatee or something stupid like that.
That's hilarious if that was real, and for a number of reasons. But first of all, I absolutely hate Modern History Channel. I miss.
Right? I'm going to say that right now.
Vintage History Channel that was nothing but World War II in black and white and color.
Exactly.
Right, Ken Burns Civil War on loop for a weekend.
Yes.
It's another holiday weekend here on the History Channel. Settle in for Ken Burns, the Civil War.
Fun Victor fact, when I spend my summers at my grandparents' house, they wouldn't let me watch Simpsons because they thought it would rot my brain. So they would just plug in World War II History Channel for me. I'm like, this is about, or like Vietnam even. I was like, this is about Bunker Hill, like, or Hamburger Hill. This is pretty harrowing for a 10-year-old to be learning about.
I would
Can't have you watching any of those cartoons.
Yeah, I'm watching
Victor.
war propaganda stuff that you see in Street Fighter. Where Blanca turns crazy because he's just watching war images for 10 hours straight.
You walk
No,
out
that's
like
fine.
a
But
dog
Bart Simpson's, that's awful. But I did learn a lot.
He says eat my shorts. That's ill-advised for a youngster such as yourself.
Children shouldn't eat pants. Those are inedible. That's bad advice. That Homer Simpson's a real alcoholic and a bad role model. Here.
But you know who's good? Bruce Springsteen. He was born in the USA.
We hate them almost as much as we hate Jane Fonda for coupling up with the Viet Cong.
Grandpa, the Born in the USA is an anti-Vietnam War song. I know you like it because of Reagan.
Shut up. We're going to listen to CCR now. Pro-war CCR. Well, anyway.
Project Blue Book. Sorry.
Project Blue Book. The project originated in 1952, and in doing the research on this, I had no clue that Project Blue Book was just was actually the third in a series of 3 investigative panels on UFOs by the US government.
I thought it was the grail of it.
It was the grail of it, but it wasn't the first of its kind. Yeah, the first one was actually by the name of Project Sign, which was established by the U.S. Air Force in 1947. Yeah. So for those of you at home that are listening, you may remember 1947 as being the point in time where we really don't like Russia. Like, it's not in 2020 where we love Russia and let Russia choose our politicians.
What's that like?
This is when Russia is bad to the United States.
Remember when we were pissed that they threw a satellite up in the space?
Yeah, and we were like, hell no. We're going to have
you
those
named
too.
A satellite after a potato? Fuck you guys.
Fuck you guys.
Is that what it's named after?
It's pretty close. It's Sputnik. It's really close to Spud.
I was like, is that a Russian potato? I had to think about that like an idiot.
Yes, come sit around table, eat Sputnik with family.
Or I thought it was like a shitty slang they do for Americans. Oh, it just does nothing in space and lays.
Call this American potato.
American potato.
You'll understand someday.
Some Russian listener that's a bot is crying like, no.
Oh, but I like your show.
I like
At least
your
I
show.
used to till you got political.
I use it to troll people on the Facebook and learn American culture.
I want to use American culture to create racial
Fun
divide.
behind the scenes, we do get 8 downloads an episode in Russia for some reason. Or I think they stopped because Apple finally stopped killing bots that downloaded stuff.
Damn it. Those bots were the only thing keeping this show in the top 1,000.
Now I have to send it manually to Vlad.
Yeah.
We have to
On a
mail it
USB
to him in
stick.
flash drive.
Vlad the downloader. Give me your podcasts.
So Project Sign kicks off in 1947, right at the tail end of W.W. Dose. And this is at the height of not being a big fan of the old Soviet Union. So, we got to spin up a project to make sure that those damn Russians aren't creating super weapons with those captured Nazi scientists. So as you could imagine, in a time period in which radar is kind of new for everyone, radar begins picking up weird stuff because it probably doesn't work right. And it leads to a lot of different reports of UFOs. But what's kind of interesting to me is that during World War II, there's a ton of UFO sightings in air quotes. And again, that's Brett the skeptic saying that. For you UFO nerds out there, they're totally legitimate sightings. And basically through Project Sign, the U.S. Air Force is trying to determine if these UFOs are in fact secret Soviet weapons of mass destruction with direct impact on U.S. national security. So, question, what do you guys think that Project Sign accomplished?
So my favorite thing about this is very clearly it could be literally anything flying by because it's radar in its infancy, no less. So yeah, they probably were 100% legitimate sightings, and they were most definitely UFOs until we identified them, and they're like, it's just a Soviet aircraft. So it is very much an IFO, an identified flying object.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right, Nick. Yeah, I think the same thing. It's it gets mixed up with all these aircrafts, and even our own military has like declassified a bunch of aircrafts that people saw that were UFOs, like circular vehicles, because they were trying to experiment with an airplane that could take off a carrier without shooting off of it and just go straight up like a helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a shit ton of prototypes out there. Yeah, like a lot of prototypes. That's from Area 51. It's probably that, because once they've taken the technology from the UFOs that crashed earlier and put them in our ships, that's how they make those prototypes. So they don't tell you that.
Like, that's particularly, you got to look at like the bombers, right? The original stealth bombers that are just flat boomerangs. And like, if you saw that, I remember the first time I saw it as a kid, it's like the mid 90s. And I'm like, look at that thing. That is clearly an alien spaceship. And then any adult's like, no, it's just an airplane.
I also love that no one called me out on my alien spaceship engine theory there, by the way.
No, I watched
you said it so confidently.
That's the point.
You had a clipboard that said alien guy, and I was like, I'm in. He's clearly telling the truth here.
Sold. Well, anyway, Project Sign comes back completely inconclusive. The UFOs were never really identified, but they did determine that they did not belong to the Soviets. So that's a win, I guess. So Project Sign declares UFOs not manufactured by the USSR and are therefore not a threat to national security. But other than that, largely unconclusive.
Wow.
My favorite thing is your footnote here that says originally named Project Saucer. Could they think of nothing else?
That's a great name. But instead
they're like, this is for aliens. We have to, we're looking for signs of aliens, looking for signs of alien saucers. So this is Project Saucer. What about Project Sign? That'll work too, whatever.
I don't care. This is ruining my career. Whatever. You can call it whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever. They stationed me here to kill me off. Like, that's what I'm going to die on this Air Force base on this project.
I signed up to take the war to Japan, and now I'm having to monitor reports of faulty radar.
Just like everyone on the Space Force right now. I'm like, God damn it. I could have been somebody.
What did I sign up for?
Boots on the moon.
The next iteration before we get to Project Blue Book goes by the name of, which is fucking awesome, by the way. It's called Project Grudge. I cannot find why they called it Project Grudge, but if I had to guess,
because we're pissed we spent all that money and it's not Soviets, so we're all pissed off.
They couldn't determine it was the Soviets' fault, so we got to spin up another project to prove without a shadow of a doubt that UFOs are Soviet technology.
They clearly walked into the office with that general and they're like, okay, we obviously need to continue the project. And he's like, fine, whatever I have to do. And they're like, what, you're not going to hold a grudge, are you? And he's like, no, I'm not going to hold a grudge. And then they're like, fine, then that's what we'll call it. And he's like, whatever, I don't care.
I don't care.
You can call
That's
it
how
whatever you
much
want.
I don't care. You can call it that.
I don't have a grudge, except for this one.
So, yet again, conclusions from Project Grudge. Entirely inconclusive.
Perfect.
Which is great. Good usage of resources in 1948 America. So, Project Grudge was not able to necessarily debunk everything, but the things that they could not debunk, they declared a couple things here. All evidence indicated either misinterpretation of existing stuff, mass hysteria, complete fabrication, or undiagnosed psychological issues of the witnesses.
I love it. Those are the most 40s answers I can possibly think of. Well, my boy, clearly it's not a saucer. You have psychological issues and clearly are suffering from mass hysteria.
How many of those testimonies did they dismiss because they were women?
I was thinking the same thing.
I was in my head. I'm just like, yeah, that's is your husband around? Can I talk to?
Where's your husband?
I saw
or your
it.
father? How about a firefighter?
Listen to me, see?
You have a trusted male you can ask about this?
You're one crazy broad.
You're
There's no
crazy
such thing as UFOs. Damn it.
Look, you got some great gams, but you got nothing between the ears, honey.
I haven't heard the phrase gams
Same.
in years.
I'm so glad
Thank
my
you.
wife doesn't listen to the show.
Oh, same. She'd be horrendously embarrassed. So that takes us to through the precursors to Project Blue Book. Now, here we are. We find ourselves in the most erotic year in human history, 1960. Or excuse me, nope. Sorry, it ends in 1969.
Oh,
got so
I gotta
excited.
jump the gun there.
It's just as disappointing as having sex with me. I got the date wrong and came to 1952. That's where we are. The middle of the atomic age. For those of you keeping score, the Soviets are still the bad guys. So
I got a feeling that's going to stick around for a while and then abruptly fall off.
like out of nowhere, like we're going to get to like the 80s and we're like, yeah, Soviet Union gone. Hell yeah. Now they're terrorists. Enter Die Hard starring Bruce Willis.
Are they Russian in that?
Some of them are.
It depends on who you ask.
Hans Gruber, I believe, is potentially German, but
Yeah, he's some sort of German leader with Russian underlings in Yakatomi
That is
Tower.
a common theme in 80s action movies that we're going against the Russians.
I think so. Yeah, and that was a good trope. You know, I feel like we really miss out on that.
Yeah. Red Dawn.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Hunt for Red October.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Sean
Forrest
Connery,
Gump.
super hot always.
Yeah, when Forrest tears down the wall. I love that part. Makes it cry every time.
Does that happen?
No.
I don't remember that.
It's one of the
God damn it.
cutscenes. He's shaking JFK's hand, and then he goes, "Whoa, got a duck!" And then he gets out of the way, and then he knocks down the wall.
So, if you guys had to guess, what was the basis for spinning up Project Blue Book after having completely inconclusive data over several years in 2 government projects?
Isn't it the space race?
Oh,
No, I'm
why
too
do we
early. I'm
need
too early.
Project Blue Book? What's the driver behind it?
Fuck.
If you
It's gotta be a
guessed,
dick measuring contest. It always is.
if you guys guessed, if we needed to determine if UFOs were in fact produced by the Soviet Union, you would be correct.
That's what it was again. Yes. Like, wait, aren't we? No, I'm wrong year.
I've heard this song before. I must have this playlist on repeat.
The Air Force, I guess, from 1947 all the way until like 1970, were convinced that those damn Soviets were so advanced that they had flying saucers. And this must be what the good old patriots of the United States of America were seeing.
I mean, throughout this whole century, America was insanely paranoid about communism taking over. Like, there was communist witch hunts throughout. I feel like almost every decade, there's some type of indication on that.
They're going
Little do
on.
they know
currently.
it was just waiting for us right now. With our leader AOC and her video games.
That's how you get
I
them.
know. All she wants to do is play video games on Twitch. Why isn't she governing, right? So
Soviets are at it again.
Yep, those damn pinkos are putting UFOs in the sky and threatening Eisenhower and Truman.
Son of a bitch.
So a couple things to note here about Project Blue Book as a more or less pretty successful compilation of data. They gathered over 12,600 reports from 1952 to 1969. And fun fact, not on the notes here, they actually used a early computer system to categorize all of this information because it was an overwhelming amount of data. So little plug.
Yes, we've captured 12,600 reports, and we've gathered it all here on this 1 kilobyte floppy drive.
It takes up the entire lecture hall of a college class. So these thousands and thousands of reports get analyzed, filed, sorted, and about 80% of them are determined to be things such as natural phenomenon, existing technology, mass hysteria, all of the things that you would expect.
But there's still not 20% of them.
20% of them have gone unexplained.
And that play the alien theme.
Play the X-Files thing.
We can't, guys. We got a note. We got a letter. I can't do it anymore.
Okay, Ethan, make a Y-Files theme, please.
Once Disney bought Fox, they got really hard about Banhammer for anything Fox related.
I'm going to text him that right now so he has it. He'll have it ready when this comes out.
Is it David Duchovny that's going to sue us, or is it Fox /
No, he doesn't give a shit.
I thought he was cool, or at least Californication led me to believe that he is was cool. That's true. So, as I mentioned, 20% of these reports completely unexplainable. So, listeners, if you live in the United States and you want to know about these reports, you as a God-fearing, law-abiding American citizen can no malarkey here. You can request every bit of Project Blue Book to be delivered to you by the Freedom of Information Act.
Every book comes in a free surveillance van in front of your house, just like I have.
It's in a really cool van called Not Bugging.
They give you a picture of your agent and everything. Like, don't be alarmed. This guy's just going to follow you for a round. It's okay. Or her.
Frank. He's very friendly.
You'll see him in the self-checkout camera at Target. He's just right behind you.
He's just right behind you. He'll go through your trash. It's okay. It's just, don't call the cops.
What are you buying there? Is that full sugar gum? I'd go with the Trident, buddy.
God, I can't ever buy condoms. He just is always there.
He's always there.
He just keeps saying, "Oh, not the Magnums. Must suck for your poor wife."
I have to buy them on the internet, and that makes me uncomfortable because now I get condom-related advertisements on my Instagram feed.
I use my work email, and now I get the wrong space. It's a mess.
My boss is on my ass. I sent a pack to the company HQ, and I had to really explain that one.
No, they're a client, I swear.
Yeah, Trojan. Yeah, we go way back, boss. Promotional material.
Brett, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't half of the stuff classified, and they just declassified it? Like, I want to say I think we covered this on an episode.
We did. A couple years back, all of it was declassified. It's not made publicly available, but it hit FOIA within the last couple of years. And the UFOologist or UFO, I don't know how you say that.
Ileologist.
Ileologist. The guy in History Channel with the crazy haircut.
Yeah, the people that are like him can request that information and read through 12,600 reports were they so inclined.
That's going to be our job. I'm going to request all those reports, and we're all going to sit down, lock ourselves in a room, and just figure out what's out there.
Can you imagine
Put the coffee
how much
on,
of those
boys.
reports come from farmers in Middle America? Just like, and there was shot like a bat out of hell out of the window. And I told him, it's not the meth. I know what I saw.
It's those
Look,
damn
I've been
Russians.
fucked up on meth before. This wasn't like that, but it was similar.
So not a lot of conclusive data comes out of Project Blue Book. Just like Project Sign and Project Grudge before it. Pretty much everything gets attributed to experimental aircraft, fluctuations in temperature, which cause a faulty signal read on radar, natural phenomenon like comets, meteors, and other space-related things.
Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, the Aurora Borealis. But no conclusive evidence of aliens are ever found through these three surveys. Yet.
Enter us.
Is where Tom DeLonge comes
in. Tom DeLonge comes in. And he has his own company now that is being hired by the Army to investigate because the government has stopped investigating this. My favorite things from UFO, if you look up Tom DeLonge UFO video, it's just black and white, but basically what it is military pilots looking at this spacecraft moving insanely fast over the ocean in China, and out of nowhere it darts out of there. Like it just goes faster than the jets that we flew surveilling it. So this thing is like crazy look, and that might seem like that's dumb. It's like the modern military now has said, we don't know what this is. This isn't Russia, this isn't China, it's something we don't know what it is at all. So we're hiring an investigations company to look into it.
I bet I know who it is. It's those damn Soviets.
Soviets, I guess. It could be a camera error, but two pilots, you can hear them talking about it and like how fast they're going compared to the device that they're looking at, and they can't tell. And it's very small. That was the other thing. I think it's shorter than 4 feet, and it's just going insanely fast over the ocean at a low altitude. So it's not a missile, and it's able to move around and navigate. And it's going faster than our current aircraft. Yeah, that's what's weird about it. If you hear the dialogue, that the footage isn't revealing because, again, it's night cam from 2,000 feet in the air. So you're just seeing a little white dot. It looks like Pong, but it takes off, which is weird. Which is why I think that aliens send a drone down, look at what's happening, and like, fuck this, and leave every time.
Oh, fuck. They're really destroying this planet. We don't want to come here for another.
What is that now? Oh, god damn it. Another wall? No, we're okay.
No. We were going to drill for oil here, but they keep taking it all.
Oh, shit, boys. Do you see what this place is going to like literally be on fire soon. Yeah, we'll come back after they're all dead in 30 years.
Back till they're dead like Mars. We'll just...
So, yeah, what do you think about government involvement with this? Like, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that this is a conspiracy hiding real information? Do you think that this is completely boring bureaucracy or something in between?
As a registered libertarian, I think we can all agree that the government should really have their hands in none of this, and we should farm it out to private industry. You know, I think if we let maybe the Mystery Machine and its crew of teenagers take a whack at it, we'd know what this was right away. And it's the dude that runs the corner store.
A libertarian that is espousing the success of the gang from Scooby-Doo is not the content that I thought would be delivered tonight.
Yeah.
But it's the only content that matters.
It makes sense. As far as Project Blue Book goes, the government doing its own study on it, I don't think it's covering up anything. I do think it is what it is. Like they had unidentified thing. I don't think the whole Roswell story of the Greys is really true. With certain people have said like they've seen alien autopsies and things. I think that we've covered it on the show multiple times that the government would rather you have that versus what really happened is that we took Nazi doctors, and I'm saying Nazi, not German, because they were Nazi doctors and scientists, and took them over to the States and had them work on stuff, including Tomorrowland at Disneyland was made by a past Nazi doctor and is shown as the footage. Yeah, Defunctland did a great video about that. If you watch the history of Tomorrowland, they're like, it's really funny because they pause the video, it's like, not German, Nazi doctor, like Nazi scientist, like to highlight that no, he was full on board for this. And
cool. Like he went to the grave unapologetic.
Yeah, but the real history is worse. Is like it's the government would rather have you be like, yeah, it's alien technology that we figured out cell phones and microwaves, than actually what it was just taking amount of scientists out of the war after the war and importing all that. That's honestly what makes this country fantastic, though, is that every time there's a revolution, is like you have all these great minds from around the world in one place. Sadly, after tragedy, but
Right.
And now we just ignore them all.
Yeah.
Now we identify them for what they are: hucksters, liars, and witches.
Look, trust me, do you want the guy that's going to listen to the scientists? No, because I fucking don't. I'm pretty rad, and he's
We live in
pretty
that world
bad.
right now. It's going to change. Don't worry about the climate. No, but your scientists say it's NASA says it's not. No, they're wrong. Who? What?
I've been to the ice shelves at the edge of the earth. It's flat. We all know it. You can't.
He makes it so hard for our show to do these topics, by the way, because then we have to be so like, hey, PSA, this doesn't. We don't believe this goes into this, and we don't think that this is the government's running our weather. I had a neighbor that said that to me, and I made sure to stay far away from him. He's like, the rain in Seattle's fake. It's just chemtrails. The government controls it. I was like, stay away from me.
Oh,
like
your son's not vaccinated.
You straight up really believe that? Okay, no.
Ooh, all right.
Well, yeah, it's gone from fun Dale Gribble to everybody's Dale Gribble.
I kind of miss fun Dale Gribble days. Like that. I used to be super into reading about all of this stuff when I was younger. Still a practicing occultist. That stuff is totally cool. But the conspiracy theory game I had to get out of. It's a sad place. And maybe it always was. And I was just impressionable and young and thought it was fun and neat.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference, though. The internet has given these places where fairly normal, like I'm going to go out on a limb here and say none of us on this show are ostensibly normal. We do this show. We're not normal. So that alone kind of sets us apart. So yeah, I remember doing the same thing. I'd pick up weird books and I'd be like, this is really neat. I know it's not the case because I can reason it. And then that's it. But now the internet has given these places these tiny little hidey holes, and they can just like sit there and just fester and it just like it spins out of control until you get the people that are highly impressionable that make this such a big thing to them. Like that is their identity. Whereas it was just us being lonely kids in the library.
Yeah. And it's like,
after you.
There was a Bigfoot shop, right? There's those guys that are Bigfoot hunters, which by the way is the best job in the world because you're just out in the woods camping and getting paid for that. But literally, like, it's like the internet has made that so they're on the news all the time, and it's just leading into the world's real problems. So you're just like, this isn't fun anymore. Like, Bigfoot causes climate change, and you're like, what? And has a Chinese bank account. You're like, I'm done.
Which is clearly
I'm
not
leaving
a
it.
bad
I'm
thing.
not saying that. And if this is on some fucking forum somewhere, whatever.
Yeah.
You'll see, Victor said on the 1022 episode of Go Volk Yourself that Bigfoot has a Chinese bank account.
Local crazy Victor of Seattle.
Oh, no, it's going to get bumped up. My name's not going to be in it. It's going to be Russian bots making it a story with pictures and everything.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to have stories published about us by Russia. That'd be interesting.
Bearded
Why would they
Radical
ever
says.
do that? But I can, I think back when I was a kid and, I was the like 10 to 12-year-old that would often find themselves in the ghost and occult and cryptozoology /UFO section of literally any independent bookstore and would spend like a couple hours there while my parents were off doing fuck all, leaving their child in a bookstore in a different city for some reason.
Because
you guys ever get dropped off at the mall? I had that childhood too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I remember thumbing through all this stuff and just loving it as a kid. Like I had books on Project Blue Book as I like in like probably middle school to high school. And in fact, I remember doing a history report on Project Blue Book when I was like a freshman in high school.
Nice.
And all this stuff was just, it was so much more fun to me then before it became kind of taken over. And like, you can kind of, if you go to these places on the internet that talk about these things, there's been a distinct shift in who lurks there.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan pointed out too on the conspiracies episode, and I stand by it. It is 9/11 that changed that. It was like, oh no, conspiracies aren't fun. Because it's just like after that happened, all these YouTube was filled with them, and if you type that into your search, you're never getting out of that rabbit hole of horrible things thrown at you.
Huh. I've never thought of it like that. Like, that does make a lot of sense, that it does kind of skew the conspiracy theory into a horrible dark rabbit hole. It leaves the realm of kind of fun mystery and into like I don't know, something involving fascists running the country.
Because everyone on the podcast likes the conspiracy or the folklore for the fact of like, what is it like to maybe, what is the story behind that? Versus, and like, that's the fun part, not is it the reason for something wrong today or vice versa. Like, what it's not for a lot of people believe in conspiracy theories. Psychiatrists think that because it gives them a sense of control. Like, it's more fun, or not fun, but it's more plausible for you to think the CIA and the Russian and the mafia had JFK killed than some crazy communist that just had a bad day and shot him. Like, that is more terrifying to think that any dude could take out the president versus, oh no, it was a controlled thing. Like, the CIA was on it, he talked, the mob was on it, there's 2 shooters. Like, that makes more sense to me. I feel more safe for some dumbass reason than a deranged shooter.
Less safe.
Right?
If that were the case.
Right?
Also, that's a lot of moving parts. How does that make sense? But yeah.
I feel like
I've been to a DMV before. I know the government doesn't have that many cogs that mesh up that well.
I don't think anyone has that many cogs that mesh up that well.
No, it's all chaos. Be kind.
Yeah.
All.
But, to kind of take it back to aliens here for a little while before we close this bad boy out. Would you find it comforting as an individual knowing that there would be the potential for a competitive level of intelligence somewhere out there in the universe? Or would you find that deeply disturbing?
Nick, you can go first with this one. I know my answer, but
I would welcome it, and not necessarily in the I would welcome our alien overlords kind of way, but also that, just to cover my own ass. You never know. They are clearly listening because they can intercept our Wi-Fi signals. But no, I really would. I like that idea. That's comforting to me. It has always the idea of an Earth-centric model where we are the only just perfect storm of ingredients that makes monkeys that can, record this show is almost bothering to me. Like, I almost want to hear that this could happen somewhere else. Maybe in a different way, more advanced, less advanced. I don't really care. But I would really like to hear someday that, yes, there is some sort of life elsewhere.
How about you, Victor?
Terrifying. Absolutely fucking terrifying. Would not comfort me what the slightest. The only comfort I would get is that maybe this planet would all align on something, would it become the Earth federal whatever, like federation, and like, but it would be for a bad thing. But it's terrifying. I don't think it'll be a nice. Sadly, our own history tells us what happens when an advanced civilization discovers a more primitive one, and they get their hands and feet cut off and fed to them. And that dude gets a holiday. So yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah,
alien overlords scare the shit out of me.
So were I to be of the bend that it existed, it would terrify me. And one of the things that I need to think critically on is, do I reject it so hard because I am terrified of the concept? That is entirely possible. But, to me, I'm kind of right there with you, Victor, on this one. If it exists, it is something that I hope would never find us, because the idea of there being something with a higher level of technology than what we can even comprehend is truly gut-wrenchingly horrifying.
Yeah, because it's not in our solar system, so it has to have something that travels faster than the speed of light to reach us.
To get here.
Yeah, and to get here with no problem would be terrifying.
Right? And then under what circumstance does that showing up bode well for us in any capacity? whether that be through conquest or whatever diseases came with it. We got to see what happened with the Western expansion into the New World, and it was not a good outcome.
That's a really good example of what that would look like. Is what
Yeah,
they're like, oh, that's cute. You still use bullets? Mind zap. What? Like disintegrate like immediately.
Look at get a load of these guys.
This guy doesn't even know how to use the Force, and he just throws half of us around.
I'm gonna telekinesis him in half.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't see the problem. All of these people ended up dead, which is my ultimate goal.
My also thought is there's such a high intelligence that they speak telepathically, and that just explodes our heads, and they don't know why. Because of them, they're just speaking to us, but automatically our heads explode because of
I don't understand. We tested this on grapefruits, and it was fine. Yes, the apples exploded, but these are clearly more complex than apples.
Chimpanzees, it worked. I don't understand why it's not working on the humans.
The only thing that powers our hyperdrive is carbon-based life forms.
Seriously.
We need to
I'm
harvest.
so glad we found you. This thing runs on blood.
100% on blood. Damnedest thing. It's
the owner's manual says A positive, but you can get away with AB.
I would only be comforted if there were humanoid aliens that were like, hey, guess what? Your reality show's canceled. Like this whole experiment, it's done. Like good job though. We're gonna send you home. You're like, what? Like,
isn't there an episode of Jimmy
South
Neutron
Park
about that?
South Park episode is that where Earth is just a reality TV show. I'm like, I think I'd get that.
You know, if the only situation in which it would be comforting whatsoever to me, and I kind of expounded on this a little bit in our Star Trek episode, would be if there was a federation and we were permitted to join because there would be rules preventing our extermination.
Absolutely. If it's
yeah.
But I think our government would fuck that up, Brett, and we would it'd be real bad.
Yeah, we'll make a deal with you, I promise. Totally cool. My hands, nope, they're not crossed behind my back. Why? I'll sign right here. Can I use Sharpie?
Again, stop launching the nukes. Page. We know you're launching nukes at us. We disintegrate. We teleport them to an empty planet. Stop throwing nukes at us as he's just pressing the button over and over.
I keep sending them to the Funyuns planet. They're not doing anything.
You can take your federation and shove it up your ass. Okay, this is not what America does. We believe in hard work and pulling our.
You just nailed it. That's what's going to happen. It's like they're going to come. They're going to be a federation, and it's not going to go down because we're the one goddamn country that won't sign it. Like
we learned our lesson. No way. They keep laughing at me because I shit myself in the room. Big whoop. Anyways, I'm not signing your federation. We're out.
Your Trump is way better than mine. Mine was really too close to Reagan.
I kind of like the Reagan one, though, especially because it reminds me of the 80s Cafe Reagan from Back to the Future.
We already kind of told our own planet that it could fuck itself by not joining the Paris Accords. So in what world would we join the Federation right now?
Yeah.
Why would we join your planet? We don't live there.
We already have a Space Force. They're more. God damn it, that's going to happen.
Look at it. Look at it.
Look at the flag. Look at this logo.
Look at the majesty of the Space Force.
We made this logo based on our ultimate, primary source. Asteroids, maybe you've played it. It's
the movie Space Cowboy.
This is my Xevious ship, and it's taking me to the moon.
That's what they sold him on, was that movie to make that happen.
That movie is fucking terrible.
It's just the same thing with Armageddon. Like, I loved Armageddon as a kid. If the best thing about it is listen to the commentary track, because Ben Affleck from the get-go hated the premise and it's just arguing about, because of course you sent a bunch of rednecks into space instead of teaching astronauts how to drill. What the fuck is like?
That I have never considered that as a criticism of the movie Armageddon for some reason.
They say it in the movie and you're like, no, astronauts are physicists and engineers. They absolutely could drill. Like, that is not hard for them to figure out.
Drilling's not something you can teach in school.
Exactly. You have to learn. You have to live it. Be a roughneck.
I gotta wonder, if we do meet aliens, would we send Tom Cruise as a delegate?
Oh God,
we'd have to. He probably has the highest number of alien connections.
I think that's
Probably.
the first dude you see on it. He's like, this is all fake. Listen, no, I have nothing
He's
to do
like,
with
I'm
this.
sorry.
Because he'll
Look,
get
it
elected
tears
for
up.
that, Nick. They'll be like, listen, it's a pyramid scheme. I'm sorry. I've been on it forever. Like
I'm so sorry. I'm a
they
level
have bad
45.
photos of me. That's why I'm
I
on
get
here.
so much money.
I'm more of
I have
a
no idea.
Scientology, Christmas and Scientology,
Yeah,
Easter
don't
Scientologist.
send me to talk
you know?
to the aliens. Don't.
I'm a Christmas and Easter Scientologist. Xenu comes, brings you presents, and eats your cookies. Like, that's kind of
It's
as far
fine.
as I go.
It's fun for the kids. I go. It's a social thing for me.
I'm not an
My
ambassador.
parents
Don't
were
send me to die.
Scientologists. I just
I love
go
this world
because
though where
what
we're
else am I
sending
gonna
him to talk to them.
He jumps on the couch and embarrasses the country.
I would rather him talk to the aliens than
Just
our
gonna
sitting
say that.
president.
Yeah.
He sends Mike
Who knows?
Pence, and they're like, "Oh, you already have one of us down there. Okay,
Okay.
cool. This is our first delegate. He's still alive. That's a really good sign.
We've come to collect our ambassador, Ted Cruz. Where is he?
You might know him as the one with the ugly wife.
Let's hit on a fun thing then. Out of every celebrity out there, who do you think is actually an alien spy?
Sylvester Stallone,
Why Sylvester Stallone?
because I saw it on the screen in Men in Black,
Oh,
and I believe it.
I mean-
That is my headcanon.
he's just hiding in plain sight.
He has to be. Think about it. And I know a lot of Italians, and he is not one of them.
Henry Cavill is my choice because he's too sexy. Why?
Henry Cavill.
How can he exist?
You want to be Spider-Man and The Witcher?
No,
Yeah.
Not from here.
Not in my book,
He
sir.
builds PCs and it's Superman. What is this?
That
He's
is-
like my dreams of myself.
I
come to
believe
life.
that
And I'm
honestly,
like,
Brett.
let's be
That's a
real.
good one because he is
It
weird.
really is.
He is weird off camera. Like,
he's a weird guy.
because I was gonna say he's British, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know. No one knows.
He's British,
where
but he
he's
doesn't
from.
act. It's weird. Like,
No, he truly reminds me of what any of us would have been like if we just accidentally got really handsome
Yeah.
or like
Yeah,
really
or
worked
like-
out and stuff.
If
Like,
I
his
ever
dad
decided
clearly
to,
beat the
you
shit
know,
out of him.
not punish my body because I hate myself.
Yeah, look, I ate a cheeseburger. Okay, sue me.
if aliens are real, it's either I would have to say celebrity wise, it's a tie between Halle Berry and The Rock. The Rock solely because he could
Ooh.
have died and came back his whole like when he became an actor, like he has some weird pack because he is the most famous person on the planet right now and
I
does not
don't
sleep.
get it.
Doesn't
Huh.
sleep. He runs.
It's got, like,
He has
8
a
companies.
football league now that he owns. He has multiple TV shows, a new TV show about his bio,
hmm
and while he's shooting 2 movies and fighting COVID off, like
And his tequila company.
and Tequila Company, and yeah, it's like a million other accolades on there.
How can one man do all of that?
I don't know if he's
One
not a
alien
man.
could certainly do. all of
Absolutely.
that.
And imagine an alien race of all rocks. That's where we lose. We don't win.
They're
If they're all that talented and strong, no, absolutely not.
What if
And
that
why
alien
Halle
race of
Berry?
rocks just takes over all of the media? They're all The Rock and Halle Berry. Those are their
Halle
two
Berry, I was just
general-
going to make a bad joke about how she's done horrible career decisions and still has one. Like she's done Catwoman.
What is this fucking TMZ now? We're shitting on Halle Berry.
kind of
And she doesn't age. That's the other thing I was joking. She doesn't age at all. She looks the same.
True.
And you know what? Good for her. I hope that
Yeah.
I aged that well. I don't think I will though.
To be fair, she's the only Oscar-winning actress that picked up her Razzie in person. I found out recently for Catwoman. So she picked it up in person. She has both awards for the best acting ever in her career and the worst acting in her career. And she had the balls to say, "Thanks to WB for making that piece of shit movie." Like, just own that whole shitty movie.
That's actually kind of amazing. I
Yeah,
like
it's
to
pretty
imagine that she has a bookshelf and
Just
at
to
one-
remind herself.
Those are her bookends.
One's black and one's white. Like, it's just to remind the scales of how dark it goes.
This has been my experience in acting.
Yeah.
I was at the very top and I've been to the very bottom. And now I quit because I don't need to do anything.
I don't need to do it anymore. I'm
Accomplished
fine.
both.
I think if we're being honest, Steve Buscemi is an actual alien, right?
Steve Buscemi.
I think he
Firefighter,
might
then
be.
actor.
He's too good, and he just looks like a bug, and I can't help but love anything he's done.
Fair.
I think I would like to meet Steve Buscemi if I
I
if
agree.
I
I
had
would.
to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we've made a lot of startling conclusions tonight that aliens are real and they walk among us.
Yeah, we went from government files to which celebrity is an alien really quick there.
Really running the gambit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they call us the TMZ of folklore podcasts. All right, we're bringing you the entertainment news.
Listen, we're trying to grow. That's what happens.
This is that late night spooky shit.
Coming after that History Channel money. Fucking Amazon.
They never want to pick us up. I don't get it. Is it
the
because
History Channel would be a fun place for us, though.
We absolutely could be on History Channel. They throw anything on there. Who gives a shit?
Literally 11 o'clock in between 23 hours of American Pickers. It's just like that's the 11 o'clock hour of Go Folk Yourself.
They literally had a show of people eating old expired food from the 40s called Eating History. Yeah.
That sounds kind of awesome, actually. I'm not going to lie. I would watch that.
I can sum up every episode for you.
It's great. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this tastes like shit. Excellent. Oh,
this food is like
shit.
70 years old. This food tastes like my grandpa.
I feel like I'm eating a mummy. Ugh.
What does it say on the outside? Oh, desiccated mummy. Well, that makes sense then.
That makes sense. All right. Mystery solved.
The show has got to have a couple turns to it where it's not like eating out a mummy. It's got to be like,
yeah,
wow,
from
that
what
was
I saw,
actually still good. Like, that's got to be the hook, right?
What is
like,
this?
Every now and then they're like,
oh,
son
man.
of a bitch, that was peaches. Huh.
That was peaches.
Well, we've gotten a little off topic,
yeah.
So that tells me we've gotten to the bottom of this mystery.
We did it.
Scraping the bottom of this barrel. We're done.
We did it.
Right. The bottom of this 1940s peaches can is nothing but cancer, and I've eaten it. So, all right, final verdict. Was Project Blue Book worth U.S. taxpayer money in the 1950s?
Maybe if it led to improvements in radar technology to identify aircrafts separately. Like if it did that, but I don't think it did.
I don't think it did.
I don't think it did though.
Yeah.
How about you, Nick?
As much as I want to say yes, likely not. I think definitely we can say Signs and Grudge, probably waste of money, but Blue Book probably has the most likelihood, just given its longevity, of inspiring kids to go to school and stuff. I don't know. Go to school to be astro people. But yeah, no, probably a big waste of money.
I'm so glad that we've had Project Blue Book to exist as a thing to inspire students to go be astro people. And that
the inspiring thing that I was like, I think they're making a show about this, and I look it up, and it's 2 seasons running on History Channel.
See, there's some kid with an art degree. They got to make that show because he loved Project Blue Book.
You're absolutely right.
He's an astro people now.
I hope that this show's inspired you, because you too can become astro people. All right. Don't give up on your dreams. It's never too late.
Don't let the sky be the limit. Be an astro person.
Be an astro person.
I'm going to make pins for the show today. That says that.
This episode is brought to you by Space Force.
And History Channel.
Yeah. History Channel sponsored every bit of this content. They paid us for this. This is
absolutely.
If you like content like this, check out other shows just like it, like American Pickers and Pawn Stars.
And Who Gets to Eat Out a Mummy? Coming on Saturday on new History Channel late night.
It's Eat Out a Mummy. Coming soon.
What a terrible way to end this episode.
There's got to be something we can do to lighten
No one's here. They're
no one's
gone.
listening to this show anymore. Who cares? This show's for us. We pay to put this show out there.
You know what? We actually break just even. Thanks to like a good handful of people that fucking love us. And I swear to God, I love you too. And I mean that with every ounce of my body.
Yeah. You're welcome for this hard-hitting content. Discussing such topics as, was a 1950s government program worth it? What does eating peaches from the 1940s taste like? And is Sylvester Stallone, in fact, an alien? And I think that tonight we have answered these questions that it was not worth the money, that eating peaches from the 1940s tastes like shit, and that Sylvester Stallone, not the most likely candidate for alien. In fact, that is The Rock, because he is too perfect.
Too perfect.
Hard agree.
All right. We've made some progress tonight, folks. I think we've really cracked some of America's mysteries. And on top of that, we beat the goddamn Soviets to the moon. Don't you ever forget that.
Absolutely.
So if you thought for a second that Project Blue Book was not worth it, you look up in that night sky tonight and you think about what flag is flying on that fucking barren rock that orbits our Earth. It's
MTV.
the goddamn American flag.
This episode brought to you by The Right Stuff, streaming now on Disney Plus. Watch the Americans kick the Soviets' ass. The Right Stuff, now streaming on Disney Plus.
And with that, folks, we leave you with this. This episode brought to you by the film Space Cowboys, starring Tommy Lee Jones.
This episode brought to you by Cowboys versus
We're going to
Aliens.
get cease and desist. Stop saying you're sponsored by us.
This episode not sponsored by Cowboys versus Aliens, but
No.
you should still watch Daniel Craig.
So if you listeners have liked this, if you're new, by the way, most episodes go just like this. And if you thought for just a second that you wanted to give us a little bit of Skrilla to make more content just like this, check us out on Patreon. Follow us on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram. Yeah, I don't even really know if we use that platform anymore. And sometimes when the moon is full, you may join our Discord channel where we all participate intermittently, making terrible jokes and sending gifts. If that sounds like something you'd be into, go ahead and donate just $1. For the price of any size drink at McDonald's, you can sponsor independent artists like ourselves to create content about hard-hitting subjects that you care about, like old conspiracy theories. What is Bigfoot? Are UFOs real? And really, who killed Kennedy? Because these are things that you're going to hear about from us. Also, we all know Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy. That's not a conspiracy theory.
And also, just a teaser for an upcoming mini-sode. I will be going on vacation very soon, and I will be visiting the Bigfoot expedition. And
Nice.
I cannot wait to antagonize everybody there with questions and shove a microphone in their face. It's going to be great.
Perfect.
You're going to be on location at the Bigfoot expedition?
I sure as shit am.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
This is amazing. We've
gonna
got
be
some
great.
good content coming for you, folks. Stay tuned. That was the end of the episode, I think. I don't.